Okay, I'm back and somewhat more awake this time. Recording the last video actually made it quite easy to remember. Well, not easy, impossible to miss what I was trying to do last time. So we're here with all the decisions you saw last time are still in place, and I only have one option on the map, so let's plunge straight into it. This here is one of my least favourite fights. These flying dudes don't start off. I'm going to pause and just deal with something. Come back. Right, I'm back. Maybe I can cut this out. This is one of my least favourite fights for a number of reasons. There are harder fights and so on, but these guys are pretty frustrating. I've got one card here, so you can see that it's got 20 damage on it. However, it only does 10 because they are flying. There's 3 of them. They don't have huge amounts of hit points, but just enough to make sure it's not easy to just squash them straight away. And therefore, I have to caution what we're doing. There is one small thing that's useful. If you have cards that do multiple rounds of damage, some of them will do 3 attacks of a low number. I used to wonder what they were useful for. They're useful for this particular instance. If you hit these guys 3 times, they will hit the ground, and whatever action they've got will stop. They'll become stunned. But here we are. I'm a little depressed with this outcome. We've got the skill that is basically useless because no power cards. Like I said, pretty depressed because I hadn't read them properly. But I've got my white noise. I'm going to get a random power card. I am then going to be able to play this and play that card twice if that's beneficial, which is more than likely is. And playing that power card will reduce one of these cards to 0. So that could make things quite interesting, especially if it does that. So this is the strategy we're going to follow. We're going to play this card to get our power card. That's probably the one I wanted least out of the possible things, but okay, we're going to go with it. So I'm going to use Amplify. This is now going to play this power card twice. So I'll get 2 extra cards each turn, which is not nothing. It also reduced 2 cards to 0, which is amazing. However, we're not going to get much benefit because we've only got 1 card to play. So we know that we want some block because these guys are going to hit us. I'm going to channel 1 Frost. I've done this wrong because I haven't. Well, it plausibly could have been a card that needed more points, so I should have played that first. So, what we can do here, we want to take these guys down as fast as possible. We're going to find the guy with the least health, which is this one, and do as much damage to them as possible. We're not going to take them down under the 3 strikes thing here because we don't have 3 amounts of damage to do. So I'm going to do them 4 damage and another 10 damage. It's a bit depressing. Somebody's going to take 3 damage from my lightning, which I think they get the full damage because flying, these don't class as an attack. That's something worth remembering they are. So anything that says reduces attack, activates when attacked, that sort of thing, doesn't happen with these. So for instance, if they've got, if you damage them, they do you damage back, thorns, you will not receive return damage. Anyway, it is what it is, so I'm going to get 7 less damage out of 12, which is annoying, but can't be helped. That at least is nice. This is what I'm talking about, the 1 times 6. So that buffer does nothing for me. Now this is interesting. I'm going to play this even though it's going to leave me open to some damage, because it will reduce one card, hopefully the right card, to 0, and also the next turn. I'm going to do this in the knowledge that I'm going to take, what was it, 12, 18, less 2, a maximum of 16 damage, because it's worth it. This should make extending these combats is a bad idea. I like to normally do things quite slowly, but some of them you just have to push through. I could, yes, but the reason I'm going to play this is because it's ethereal. If you don't play an ethereal card when it's drawn, it vanishes from your hand for the rest of the combat, and never to be seen again until next combat. So you have to do it now. The upgraded version just isn't ethereal, I think. So, let's do this. What went 0? Not the one I hoped. I was hoping for the charged battery. I could have done with the extra thing. So, I am going to do it this way. I'm going to channel 1 lightning, invoking that lightning, doing 8 damage around enemy. I really hope this guy. And then I'm going to do recursion, which is going to evoke this. So I do 12 damage, and it's going to add a 12 damage at the end if I've remembered this correctly. So let's do it that way, man. Did not hit the guy I wanted. Another chance here. Yep. And as you see, we've already got it comes back with its charge applied. So I am going to take 10 damage, which is more acceptable, but not great. Huzzah! So, first up, have a quick scan to make sure there's nothing that leaps out that says don't do this. So I know what I want to be doing. This one for certain. Gets played twice, worth remembering, because I could have used that on what I'm going to do next. I could have played this twice. I'm going to play this because not only will it do what it says, which is going to make me cycle orbs every time they hit me for unblocked damage, it's going to 0 out a card. And this is where it gets quite interesting. I will now be able to survive all incoming damage. It gives me extra choices. I can do this, but I don't need to. But I can channel 1 random orb and evoke this twice, doing 8 damage, 16 damage to somebody, which is going to be quite tasty. Excellent, not the one I'd hoped for, but it doesn't matter because I can hit them for this, and I can channel an extra lightning. Very nice. So now I'm in a situation where I'm going to deal 6 damage overall to these guys, hopefully at least 1 to this guy. I have a nice solid heavy hitter just waiting to be deployed there, and I've got enough energy, enough block to negate incoming damage. This guy's going to, by the way, is going to be putting the strength up again so that they do more damage each turn. Got 2 extra cards. I will play the first card in each round twice, and if they actually hurt me, I will channel more lightning, which is going to rotate those orbs around and start dealing out quite a lot of damage. And go. So first of all, we know that we can get away with not worrying about this, but I shouldn't have done that. I should have used the other thing, but we have won. Because when I do this, 48 damage will be meted out on that hapless bird there. Dexterity potion. Dexterity gives bonuses to block you get from cards. I'm pretty sure it doesn't good bonuses to block you get from the orbs. So it's cards only. We get to choose a card. Never used this one. Still not going to. Already got that one. This one useful if you channel a lot of frost, but it's not a bad thing to have in the hand anyway. So it's not worth skipping over, but it's not immensely joy bringing either. So next up, lots of question marks. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I've never done this. So you remove all strikes and you lose all of this HP because you're much more vulnerable. But every time you get these bite cards which allow you to heal 2 HP per round. If you have a really tight deck, that's great because you're going to be feeding health back in. But I don't do tight decks, so it doesn't really seem to work for me. So I've never done it. Vampires. I think they're fairly clearly right. Vampires. So we're continuing on this path. There's going to be a shop up right up the top, which is great as well. Don't know if I factored that in the first time around. Yeah, these are cheap at the price, so let's do that. Explosive potion. It's kind of useful. Just need to remember it to use it at some point where I've got multiple enemies. I don't really care about it that much for the end game, so I'm not saving it the energy one I want to hold on to. Dexterity will be good for the end game unless I have a use for it earlier. Yeah, I've chucked the dexterity one away. I'm not going to cry about it too much. This is where it gets interesting. I think I'm going to take this path. I mean, the same question marks. But actually, yeah, I'm going to do it this way. Right, the Snecko is something quite a bit different. Apologies, the music's going out. I'm just looking at something else for a second. Yeah, I can't do the thing that I was hoping to do. This first turn, it never does anything. It's just doing this powerful negative effect. The powerful negative effect is always going to be something called Confusing Stare, you'll see in a second. What Confusing Stare does is it randomizes the energy cost of every card you get from now on. So there's some importance here in playing these cards, because it's the last time you're going to know what they cost for sure. This extends to zero cost cards. So zero cost cards might cost 1 or 3. So I don't think they can cost more than 3. But it can make this either extremely easy or very difficult, because of cards that cost lots might cost 0. But there's just no way of knowing. So it's a gamble, it's quite risky, and I actually quite enjoy these ones. So we know that because of my mummified hand, I can play power cards and reduce other cards to 0. So the hope is that I'll play this power card, which I have to really because it's ethereal. It will vanish this turn, and I really want this. Because whatever card I afford to play, being able to play it twice is going to mitigate the randomness a bit. But hopefully it will reduce the other power card to 0, which will then reduce another, and that seems like the best way to go. It's not going to hurt me at the moment. I would really, really like... Okay, there is another risk-reward situation here. I can play this, then Static Discharge, and hope... Ooh! See, this is, you start logicking this out. I play this, then that. This will be played twice. It will then 0 cost 2 cards. So there's a reasonably good chance that Echo Form will be one of them. So I risk using the Echo Form, but actually it feels like a a good gamble, and I can use the energy up here to possibly mitigate the effects. So doing this carefully, I play this first, then this. Perfect, that's what I wanted to happen. Now playing Echo Form, zero that, and I get to play everything for 0. Wow. And I think those cards are now locked in for this combat. So this is what we're talking about now, things that cost lots, cost nothing. So I don't know if the card effect there applies over the confusion effect, but it doesn't matter because we get free 12 block, which is perfect. Now we can choose to play this with our actual with our points. I'll come to that in a second because we can just play this for 0 twice, of course, and that. Now we're going to play this because it will apply 1 week, 25% less damage, 25-18. I can't do it in my head, but we already know that we're safe, so there's no need for more defense. So we're going to play this. Great, charge battery for free, 2 extra points next turn. That very much works. Our only defense is going to cost all of our points, so that's kind of annoying. Channel 1 orb. Oh, this is brilliant. I've got plasma orb. This will give me 1 extra energy per turn. It's that where the turn starts with it in existence. We've got nearly enough damage here. I don't want to waste that. So what I can do here is evoke this and get it back. So that's brilliant. I'm going to do that. I could then use this Tempest to evoke this, which will give me another 2 energy, which I don't need right now. So it would evoke these 3, so it would actually push all of these out and do another 18 damage. And then I would do another 9 damage. I'm just going to do 18 damage plus 26 damage total. And then another, yeah, well, it's actually obvious we should do this because it will probably kill it this round. Yeah, 5, he's now dead because we're going to do 9 damage passively at the end of the turn. And done. I'm taking this because that's just a really good card to have hanging around. 9 damage for basically nothing. This one is extremely useful because you get to choose his card and be guaranteed that it will be in your hand next turn. Equilibrium, 13 block, but everything that's in your hand stays there, which is like that kind of plus. Does cost a lot, but I find it a very good utility card in general. So on to another question mark. Free card upgrade. What should I do? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself choice on this card because it is so powerful. Normally I would upgrade charge battery pretty much automatically because it doesn't give you extra energy, it does give you extra block. It becomes, and 2 or 3 of those in your hand, especially if they all turn up in groups of 2 or so on, are tremendously powerful. Part of my long-term strategy is to have plenty of cards that either create plasma to give me energy or extra energy directly through card use. Right, got an elite fight. We are reasonably good shape, so Most of our HP. A lot of potion options on potions. Yeah, and those, you know, pretty much aware. If they fuck us up, it's not going to end the game. So let's just dive in. Oh, I hate this guy. Alright, this is a fight you want to be over quickly. The reason for that is that this guy's Book of Stabbing, it's a good name. If this guy deals you damage, you will get, so this is direct damage, not damage mitigated by block. You will receive wound cards, which are useless cards that clog up your deck, and the longer you play, the more of them will come, and it gets harder and harder to effectively fight back. They also do quite a lot of damage. So got no power cards that will help, so automatically what we want to do, we want to reduce the amount of damage to doing 15. 2 damage is something we can handle. We're going to gain 13 block, and this gives me an automatic recursion, will allow me to do that, and I could then do 12 more damage, and I don't want to. I want that to increase in damage first. So I'm going to end the turn. I'm going to keep an eye on this and debate whether I want to use that dexterity potion. But right now, 2 damage is fine. But there we go. A wound. No powers and amplify. So my luck's out here. I've got 3 things. He's going to do 12 damage, so I have to mitigate that. And that. So we're going to increase the amount of passive damage we're doing and weather the storm. There is a rest site directly after this, so I'm less concerned about losing health. Okay. It's fairly obvious here. I want to put block on. 6 times 3 is 18. And I think I'm ready to cycle the orbs in this way, so I will do him some damage with that. Quite a nice chunk. 14, 18 total. I'm safe, and I can get myself a single lightning. I can do this once. So do I want a free lightning strike on him? I think I might want to hold that for later. Okay, we've got a power card. No, it's a skill card. That's annoying, but it gives me a power card, so I want that. Loop. Yeah, that just does extra passive abilities for the orbs, whichever one's in the front. That allows me to channel across. This is good because I will automatically generate some block at the start of every turn. I've actually got quite a lot of choices here. I can do 6 damage with that. I'm not really that bothered. Do 2 streamline damage, so it looks like I'm doing this one, and that one, but I'm going to do this first and see what happens. Cool, so we're going to get a bit more protection. And I'm going to hurt it for 20, and that card will be even more useful next time it turns up, which won't be too long. Right. I'm going to play this power card and see what I get to play next. I think that's probably the wisest thing to do. It's what I hoped. Add some defense. Why can't you turn up at the right time is what I can ask. So, they're on 74. I think the obvious things to do, I'll just go do as much defense as possible. So 7 block. That's pretty impressive. Oh yes, my card gets played twice. So 26, 6 times 5 is still a lot. 6 times 6 is 36, so with 30 damage, which I am now safe from. Question is whether to generate 2 lightning there, the passive, or deal 9 damage, and I'm going for deal 9 damage. So that's an automatic. Uh, 18 protection. We will channel 1 random orb, because that puts us right into the safe area. We're going to hit him for 20. No, we don't need to do that. You see the wound cards beginning to filter in here. So this may make all the difference now. So yeah, we can end this now. 20 damage. Twice. We're done. I keep on forgetting that it's going to be twice. This is useful because we no longer waste a question mark room on enemy fights. It will be a random event, a chest, a shop, which means we can use them as a guaranteed way, especially when we're low on health, of maybe getting to a rest site or gambling for some kind of health upgrade. So here we go. I'm not taking this because that's more use overall. That will generate more than 12 block for me in any particular round, more than likely. So definitely having that. Let's have a look. This sounds, losing an orb sounds bad, but actually it means you can cycle orbs around a lot quicker if that's your playstyle. Makes sense. This is quite a good card. It also gives you 2 focus, which increases the power of your cards. And if you've got Consume combined with, I think it's Optimize or something, which gives you a bunch of orbs for free, you can juggle them in and out, which is really handy. Streamline we know about, I'm very much a fan, but we've already got one. We've already got one of these, so I'm going to go with Consume. I might never use it, but it's there. And we come to the rest site. So, my options here to upgrade a card, which I'd like to do, but health's a bit low. Recall, again, but the health's a bit low, we'll have another chance. Recall you can kind of do towards the end, if you can judge, and I'm hoping to optimize the situation so that that happens. You can kind of play it. So in this case, you want the health back. You'll notice I'm barely ever at max health now. Right. I'm kind of hoping this is going to be a shit relic, because then I won't have a hard choice. And yeah, that is something I can survive without, unless we look at the map and go, I really want to be somewhere else. So I would get the choice for the next 3 times of any of these. But what do I want to do? Well, I want to do this. I want to do the question mark. Well, I'm already doing this. I want to do the question mark. I want to go to that shop. Another rest site. I could just go question mark rest site. This is a really good point. And this is a conflict, but it means that I will have to get the piece from the chest later. But this would enable me to get the recall piece, because I could do this, next 3. So I'd choose that one, then that one, and then probably I would go up there. So the thing is that the rest sites are already on there, so it doesn't feel like a big problem for me to just go straight up that path. So I think, yeah, I am going to take the Sapphire Key this time, because the wing boots are nice, but in this particular situation I don't need them, and that's a relief. So, do I want to remove any cards from my deck? No. If you go for it, it is really quite funny. But I'm not going to this time, so I'll have to leave it for another day. There's a recurring character in this, and this guy is actually that person who is entertaining. So I'm going to leave that. Yeah, thanks, dude. So what we are going to do here is we're going to do this fight. Hope it's... Oh, this guy's a bit of a pain. Right. Here we go. So we've got the energy potion on standby. We've got dexterity on standby. We're going to use Echo Form, even though it's not ethereal, because I want to. It's going to zero one of these cards, which are 1 in 4 chance of getting a defense card. We've got a fireplace up the way, so we have the chance here. Okay. Now I can channel 1 Flost. That'll give me 2 more points off, so I'm taking 8, 16, 24 damage. I'm taking 19 damage. I think I can suck it up. I'm just going to do that. This guy generates block when you hit him. So, once again, a power card. Once again, because I've used a power card twice, I get a bunch of zeros. So what I'm going to do is recursion to get this back, and I'm going to evoke my next orb twice. Because it's not attack, he won't get 3 block. And this does nothing, because I've channeled no frost this round, so it does nothing. But I'm unlikely to use it. So here we go. It's really going to hurt, but I've got to accept that that's what's going to happen here. So once again, I'm going to use Equilibrium here, even though it won't do anything specific for me. All of this stuff is defensive. Why am I doing this? So I can keep amplifying my hand and hope that it will do the job for me more next round. And I'm going to do this to cycle something to... And oh, I hadn't even noticed how low his health was. And win. Don't want an artifact potion. Barely ever remember to use them. Okay, so here we go. Risk reward card. You'll use this to be able to play 2 in your current round, but you will end up with this card, the Void card, in your deck. It will only affect you once, but it will remove 1 energy that round. These things are useful to have for an emergency, so I'm going to have that. Even though the rebound was probably more to my taste. Merchant time. So, what I've discovered here is that you need to look very carefully at what you're seeing before making any decisions. If you do this quickly, you risk doing it. High prices aren't necessarily the most useful thing. So potions always appear in combat rewards. Well, that's lovely, but I really don't use them very much, so I'm not that interested. Ornithopter. Now that's kind of interesting. Those two combined can be quite powerful, but I'm not got that much money. Down here, you will occasionally find in the potions that they have something that will up your HP, your maximum HP. They will always have 1 gold card, colorless gold card. So colorless, there are cards that are where the edge is the color of your character, and the colorless cards can be used by any character. Yes, the shopkeep makes funny little witticisms. And up here, there's always 1 on sale. Don't like that card much because I play long games. Capacitor used with consumer could be quite powerful, so a bit of mental calculation. This is again good for emergencies. This is kind of useful, but doesn't suit my playstyle very well. So my feeling is 145, 245. So if I take the Ornithopter, which I like, I can choose one of these 2. And my feeling is that I probably want... I'll just check that I'm doing this right. Capacitor and consume. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Different to a normal playstyle. Normally I'd just go straight for that, but I'm going for this. Don't have to spend all your money going there. Going to the shop, sometimes it just won't work out for you, but I think I made some solid choices there. So we're going to proceed. Do this, boss fight, and then we're going to come out the other end and an elite fight. I'm going to do this, and then we've got a choice of elite or so on. So I'm going to have a think about that while I'm doing this, because what I'm going to do at this one is rest. Now, my choices are go into this boss fight with a relic that I will get from that fight, but I risk being so damaged that the next fight is very hard. Still risk being damaged on this. I mean, it's not like the normal fights are that easy. So the likelihood is we're going to have to use the rest site for resting, no matter what. And it feels to me that I'm careful enough to take on an elite. So I'm going to try that, and it's one of the harder ones, which is just not great. So here we go. 2 power cards again. Gonna use this and see what happens. That probably end up eating the damage. What one's doing the most damage? Right, so that's worked out quite well for me. But it's still going to be painful. So what am I going to do? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is throw this, because why the fuck not? I'm going to hurt them all, and I get a little bit of it back. Now I could use 2 energy, play static discharge, and then hope that I get this down to 0, and I can still play the defense. Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. I'm going to try it. So we've got 19 block versus 17, 20, 25 damage. It's a lot less bad than it could have been. Could have drunk the dexterity potion as well. That's life. Right, so whatever I play first gets played twice. Can you guess what I'm going to do, guys? Yep, that's right. Glacier twice. 14 blocks straight out of the gate. I'm going to get 2 frost. We're going to do some damage, and we're also going to generate some more block. Pretty nice, huh? So now we've got 30, and they can't hurt us. So we can decide what we're going to do next. We can do some damage. We can do some damage. More block. We're not. We're going to have some extra orb slots, which is going to reduce something to 0. 7 damage versus. Well, it's not a versus. And we're going to take out this guy at the back first, because at least health. We just want to take the number of people who can hit us down. Oh, it does that to everyone. I completely didn't know that. Right. So, some fairly obvious things to do. So I'm going to put my charge battery, because it gives me block and gives me energy for next round, and do it twice. I've got 14 block and 2 energy next turn. This leaves me with 2 energy. I have quite a lot of interesting options here. So first of all, we can just do that. That has the effect of upping our. I think these guys are getting quite nasty right now. What are we going to do to deal with that? Well, if I put this, in, I now go up to 4. I'm going to do that, and I can generate 4 lightning. It's going to generate a lot of block, and it might even do them some damage. So we do this first. And I'm going to get 4 lightning. It's going to do a lot of passive damage. And although it's not quite enough to completely stop the incoming damage, it's going to really hurt them. So let's see what happens. I think we might even take this guy out. Unlucky. Ah, yes, we generate on each one. So, okay, this is where I can say it can get quite silly. We're now going to get 2 power cards. one of which is "You can't hurt me, ha ha." So any amount of direct damage that comes through is going to be negated. Game 1 focus, which is just going to knock all of these up. We can just take this guy out now because this card's free. We can ensure that that guy's block can't hurt us. We can now push those up and lose those 2 things, and we can channel 1 orb. I think this might be pretty much the end of it. Yeah, I'll just streamline him twice, in fact. Ooh, lovely. Look at that. Oh, this is lovely. So, 14 damage to all enemies, 1 dark. Or I can channel Frost, or I can have Reboot. This is actually a very powerful card, but this is going to be much more useful in the long run. And here we go. So I'm at 79 health. I have a potential 110, which I can get for this boss. I don't think I need it. 110 is not going to make the difference between me living or dying here. Yeah, you'll laugh at me when I'm clearly, if I had the extra, what is it, 31 hit points, and then I die. But I also, it's worth bearing in mind, have this, which I'd really like to save for the end game, but that will keep me going. So what I'm going to do at this rest site, and 2 options, I'll have a think. One is to hang on, I will have to deal with something. I'll be right back. Right, and I'm back. So I just wanted to check my cards to see if there wasn't anything I desperately wanted to upgrade. And there are some strong contenders. I'd really like that charge battery to be leveled up. But for this round, no. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to get my last stone. And I can stop worrying about it. Last key. Sorry. So we will proceed. Now, as before, I will do this boss fight and then the next one, and then I am done. I'm on a bit of a time limit as well, so let's see how fast I may go a bit rapidly. So, or I could just die. What have we got here? Alright, this guy's quite hard. I'm going to expend all my potions here. I will now get enhanced block thing. He's going to do me damage this round. This is an interesting option. I could use this first and start doing a lot of damage immediately, and then I will limit my other options, but the other options are strike, melter, and I can't use that. Actually, there aren't any other options really. This is going to do more damage than strike, so these 2 are the cards to play. No powers, so off we go. We're going to get the focus. We're only going to have 2 orbs. I'm going to switch these round. I'm going to do damage. I'm going to eat what he chucks at me. Alright. So, what we're going to do here is play that first. That's no use to us at all. We could do that, but we won't get it back. We want that will protect us. So our choices are to evoke next to which I can do, or I can cycle everything through and do 24 damage, which at this point will not make a great deal of difference, or I can cycle a lot of lightning through, doing 8 times. So I will do cycle 3, so I'm going to do 8, 16, and some passive damage. You know what, I'm going to go for it. This will do quite a lot of damage overall, especially with the focus. So I've been saying 8, 16, in fact. Without it, I'm doing 5. With it, I'm doing 10. Okay, this is going to hurt him, so let's do it. 34 overall. That's not bad. I'm doing 10 rounds passively every time. So here we go. 24. The first thing we're going to do is white noise, get our random power. gain more focus, makes these even more dangerous. That's great. That gives us some free block. What we're going to do here is take the block. We're going to get 26 block to his 24 damage. So what we're going to get even more than that, because what we're going to do is channel do 14 damage and channel 1 dark, which is going to be very useful. This guy's thing, he doesn't look like much at the moment, or rather he's a big knight with a huge sword and shield, so that's bad, but he has a special halfway point where any bad stuff you put on him gets negated, and he also hits you really hard. You'll see what happens. The thing is, I'm quite offensively nasty at the moment, so how do I do this? So I've got my 3 points, so I've got 4 energy to spend. I've got the streamline as a choice. I want that for doing damage later. I've got that. He's not attacking me, so I'm not big on defense, and I've got the I can hold cards in my hand if I use that one. So my feeling is that what I want to do is expend the equilibrium and the streamline, and keep these for the next round, because I've got plenty of space in my hand and you can have up to 10 cards. So I think it's up to 10 cards. Don't need a block, but streamline will now cost 1 less. End of turn, they don't go away this turn. Oh yes, he's now made me weaker and more vulnerable. He is now powering up, I think. So we have a lot of options here. What we're going to do is we're going to use Echo Form to get that very wacky power that I love, and see what goes to 0. That's fine. But what I want to do before I do that is use this now. This gives me 2 points to spend. So the reason I want to do that is I want to gain the orb slots, add the orb, add that orb, still got a point left, don't need to block, I don't need more frost, and I don't have extra energy to spend on the card, so I'm just going to do some damage. I've now got 10 passive. Right, this is where it gets interesting, because he is going to do me a lot of damage. So what I want to do, I don't have a lot of choice. I have to play this block card, I have to play Amplify and this power card. So what I don't want to play that one first, because it will not get any benefit from the double card, but this will. So we're going to do that. We could have gone for the power card, that would have gone 0. I've just realised that, and that was silly. But we're going to do it this way around and see how it works. This will get played twice, making both those 0. I did blessedly do it the right way. Do I want to channel a lightning, or do I want to keep the passive block? I'm going to take a risk and channel the lightning. Yes, that puts my dark to the front. I'm perfectly safe from this attack now. Right, we've got another moment for calculation. I think we can afford to do that, but what I want to do first is bank some energy for next turn. Twice, I've actually forgotten that. And now I've got a choice. I can channel 1 random orb, I can get the extra focus, which will make this even more damaging, and hope that I got something that will activate it in the very near future, or I could activate it now. And my feeling is I want to do it this way. Recursion, that's what I was looking for. So he's going to really hurt me here. I can't actually do a lot of damage to him here, because he's got the 20 block up, and it might be a waste to do that. But practically anything it means I really can't do anything. This will go away after this round, so I'm thankful it came now. I think that doing 100 and oh, that's not what I thought it was. I will get that back because I absolutely want to do this. So I want to evoke that, and I want to do that because I get extra cards to play. And now I'm in a good position, so I get 14 passive each round. I don't need these, there's some energy to waste, but that's okay. He's doing a lot of stuff, so he's going to buff himself up. When you get him below a certain amount of health, he freaks out. So ideally what I want is that to be played twice, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use it now by channeling this frost, because I need to short my block for the big strike that is coming. I don't need to use the turbo just yet. I don't think. We're going to do this and then figure out the next move. So that really hurt him. Oh yes, you can see I can generate an insane amount of block now. I can do him 12 damage because I've been channeling a lot of frost, or I can do him 6 damage, or I could do both, but that's a waste of that card for later, is it? It is a waste. So 13 damage. There we go, that's what we talk about. He regenerates himself and then comes in with this absolutely enormous strike. So the first thing we're going to do, it doesn't matter that we don't actually hurt him, is reduce the amount of damage that he's going to do. He's got 2 weeks, so he will be weak next round as well. We now think about what we're going to do next. He's going to do 40 damage, which is survivable. That's no use to me. I can use this to do him 10 damage and get a dark 14. Or we can get the 17 block and do a strike. Well, it's kind of an obvious one, isn't it? We do this, reduce the damage as much as possible, we'll get quite a lot of I'm not going to calculate it, and hurt him a little. So we basically aren't affected by that, which is amazing. No powers again. Need to look into possibly getting more of those. Oh, and the fact that he did us damage channeled the lightning twice, which pushed us round but lost us the block. That's okay. So my feeling is I'm going to channel the random orb, see what I get. Ooh, that's good. So I'm going to get a extra bit of energy next turn. And if I play this right, I will have, yeah, if I go with this, that will push that through to evoking next turn. If he does me, he won't do me any damage. So that feels like the right thing to do. 0. Do I take the extra energy and play anything else? It doesn't feel like I should. So we're going to end the turn with that. Force field for 0. We're going to take that. We've got all of these dark here. That's going to be great. I could lose that. So my feeling is, oh, this is going to be funny. It's not the way that I really want to do it, but it is a way around doing a way of doing things. So we're going to use this to push my energy around. It will give me even more energy, more than I need. But it's not a waste. As you can see, we're safe from the incoming damage. Now we can play any of the cards we want. Why not? But this allows me to invoke this twice. So I 17 damage will become 34 damage. I'm just going to hurt them quite a lot. And it will clear this so that we actually keep these two orbs still. So I have used everything and I've not lost any orbs by using consume, and I will gain the extra focus. If I did it the other way around, I would lose, I'd do more damage, but I would lose the energy orb. Now things are looking pretty rosy. Use that card, why not? So he's going to do 60 damage. I'm going to survive that. It's interesting because I'm not going to possibly going to finish this without using that Dark Orb, which is interesting. Oh, I am. I just want to do it right. So, first thing we can do is Streamline. Takes his way his block. So on 14 we have 1. And the reason we have 1 is I'm going to channel that Frost. And he's done. Now, this is a hard choice. Buffer, as you know, is a very favourite card of mine. Rainbow is really quite good. I don't like the exhaust on it, but this, because my strategy is to gain energy, having this, if you play it right, it's hard to evoke in the first thing. I really want to upgrade it as soon as possible because I think that brings down the amount of energy you have to spend. Then gives you 3 plasma to use and cycle through the will, which can give you insane amounts of thing. You can end up playing ridiculous amounts of cards in a single hand, in a single turn in a combat. So I'm going to take this one. It may turn out to be a bad idea, but it's worth doing. Big choices. That's ridiculous, and not just good. It's not necessarily good ridiculous. The fact that you keep on getting orb slots, if you can't take them away again, you stop being able to evoke them. My orb cycling strategy is pretty solid. I don't really want to change it, so I'm not going to take that. This is brilliant. You're like that card that gave me block and didn't discard the hand. This is just permanent, not discarding the hand. I'm really good at playing large hands, and I like the choice, so I'm going to take this. It can be a curse. If it allows you to cycle out the cards you need, you can't. I'm not sure how well it's going to work, but I feel that would be better than the never-ending generation of orbs. Sorry if that's not very clear. I'm trying to focalise my process. So, 1 battle and then we're done. So, not doing very well money-wise. So, my feeling is 1, 2, boss, 1, 2, boss. We're counting question marks again and shop here. And then things. So this feels like the most comfortable route for me. So it has things I like. Combats. Couple of things, some choice here. If things going badly, I can head off one way or another. But this path feels like the right one. So we're going to jump in on this one. Full health. Got a lot of things. Right, these guys turn up pretty frequently. Their bag is that you... Actually, I'm going to stop here. Because I believe I'll just start on the map there. I think I got it wrong last night. So I will explain these guys later. Again, if I decide to upload these, which I haven't yet, thank you for watching.